So if you want to create what appears to be liquid running down from text, this is a demonstration that I did with only 30 frames, and I want to show you what the effect looks like. The way I made this, I have obviously the text, I have the background, I have the liquid drips as a separate graphic, and I have this red field. When it goes down, it makes it appear as if the liquid is actually running down. So let's go through the steps in order to create this. This dripping graphic has to be the same color as the background. So if you have a black background, this would have to be black. If you have a white, it would have to be white. To further demonstrate, this is what the actual graphic is. So how did I get it to become black? I just went up to image and I went to adjustments and exposure, and I adjusted the exposure to be completely black. If I were to do a white background, I would go in the opposite direction. I want to demonstrate on a white background, and we're going to say OK there. So I have this right here. I'm going to select this and I'm going to copy it. I have a sample document already set up, and I'm going to paste that as a separate layer. Right now it's on layer 2, so I want to create another layer, and I'm going to call this my background, and I'm going to slide that down the bottom so it's underneath. There we go. So I have the background layer, I have layer 2, which is the drips, so I can actually rename that. Then I want to have a text layer. If I click the text tool, type liquid motion again, and I'm going to position that text right about here. So now I have this white graphic that I want to have right underneath the lettering motion right there. So the next step is to create, on this background, I want to create a white background because the white is going to actually match that. But I'm going to keep it transparent just for now so we can see what's going on. So the next step is to create what would be the fill of this liquid motion coming down. Now I have this graphic right here, which I created using the pen tool. You take the pen tool, create your points, fill that shape, save that graphic. And I kind of created this organic wavy motion to make it look as if the drips were not going down as a straight line, but kind of dripping randomly. I'm going to go back to our document here, and I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to fill that. So I want to have this fill layer above the drip. Position that fill right up here, right about there. Now it's rather big, so I can scale that down a little bit before we start making the clipping mask. There we go. So there's our shape. I'm going to keep that selected. I'm going to go up to layer. Now as long as that's above this layer, the drip layer, I'm going to create a clipping mask on this drip layer with this color fill. So I go up to layer and I select create clipping mask. And what that did was it created the clipping mask for the drips with this color that we just put in there for layer 3. So I'm going to take the move tool, and we can just do a shift and move it down that way. You have to drag right in the graphic itself, the color itself, and that's what the animation will look like. Now notice that we can't go all the way down because I didn't make the graphic big enough when I resized it. So that would be some issue that I'd have to fix, go back and fix that, actually just kind of remove that clipping mask and redo the size here. Or I can just drag it here and make it bigger. So either way would work. So that would be our dripping motion for the animation. I'm going to create that in a second. I do want to adjust the size because I messed that up. So I'm going to bring that down just a tad because I want that to fall, the M and the O, and especially the T and the I, with this red field here. So I, again, create the move tool, click on this, I want to drag that up so that it's out of the way, right about there. I'm going to go back to our background, and I want to fill that with white. So again, make sure that that's selected, and I'm going to take our paint bucket tool and just click white. So now we have a white background with red text and our dripping motion and our clipping mask applied to that. So now let's go down and create our animation. So we have a frame 1 right here. Click another frame here. Go to our clipping mask. Move this down. And then in the colored field, bring it down to the last possible position that we want, which is right about there. And then we're going to hit, so frame 1 is all the way up, frame 2 is all the way down. We're going to click our tween tool, add 30 frames, click OK, and this is what the animation looks like. So at this point, if that's appropriate, we can go up to File, Export as a save for web legacy, and it's going to give you some options here. I don't want to have it looping forever, so I'm just going to say loop once. Then we're going to click Save, and I'm just going to say Untitled for now. I just want to show you what that looks like, and I'm going to open that up with one of my browsers here, and that's what the animation looks like. So that's how to create liquid kind of motion in a off of text using Photoshop and exporting it as a GIF.